Hello and welcome to the fourth video in the SPT Framework series. In this video we're going to look at the installation of the SPT Framework, how you get it, where you get it from, and how you then get that into your TwinCAT project so you can start using the SPT Framework. Now from our third video you know that we employ a Git source control system with the SPT Framework. That's how we track feature updates and how we track bug fixes in the framework. And that's all available on the sharing site GitHub, which is, as you know, the largest online repository of Git repositories in the world. And the SPT framework is no different. It's delivered to you via GitHub, so you can go and grab it there anytime you like. So if we have a quick look at GitHub, this is my landing page for GitHub. Yours will look slightly different depending on who your connections are. It's almost like a social media style connection system here where you can follow other developers and so on. I would recommend you get an account because that will allow you to use the Git workflow to actually pull any changes to the SPT framework. So as we update the SPT framework, make modifications to the library, feature requests and so on, that update will get pushed to GitHub and you can just pull that change down onto your computer as that happens. You can simply download the zip, but that would then require you to keep coming back online to check to see if there's been any updates. So let's go and find the SPT framework. So I'm going to type in Beckhoff USA because it's deployed through their GitHub page. Now the first search for this hasn't come up with anything, and that's because the first thing GitHub always default looks for is repositories. But Beckhoff USA is a user, so simply clicking on that will expose the Beckhoff USA page. And then here we can find very easily the pinned SPT libraries. And this is the main page for the SPT framework. So here we can see some links to a demo PLC project using the SPT framework. We can see a link to the documentation page, which I would thoroughly recommend you read through. Here we explain exactly how the SPT framework is supposed to work, the different types that are included inside the SPT framework, which we'll come on to in the video series. But it is very useful to familiarize yourself with this site. So, in order to get hold of the SPT framework, you have two options. As I said a minute ago, the first would be to click on this code green button here and download the zip file. That effectively just works exactly as you'd imagine. It downloads the zip of all the code that's currently the latest version, and you can then bring that into your TwinCAT project. But what I'm going to do is slightly different. I'm going to use Git itself to actually take a clone, or what we refer to as a clone of this repository. What that means is I will have on my computer a complete clone of this repository that's actually still linked, yes, via GitHub to this repository. And as this gets updated, I can then grab those changes as and when they happen rather than having to come back on here and download the zip again. So let's just take a copy of that. Then all I'm going to do is open up Windows Explorer. And in there I've created a folder where I want these libraries to be kept. So here I'm going to open up a copy of Git Bash, which is a tool you can use with when you install Git. It gets installed automatically and allows you to run the Git commands that the Git tool uses. In this case I'm going to run a Git clone, which will clone the thing on GitHub, which in this case the SPT framework, and effectively install it on my computer in this folder location. So I'll paste that in. You can see here the URL that I copied from GitHub itself. Press return and you can see there it now downloading all of those files. So once it's completed, I'll then be able to import those into a TwinCAT project. And we'll just have to wait for my internet to catch up with everything I'm trying to do. There we are, so that's done. We can now see inside here we'd have an exact replica of everything that you can find on GitHub there. And just for comparison, if we have a look inside the library repository, you've got the Beckhoff there and you've got the various folders that you can now see on my computer. Now that's well and good, but those aren't inside my TwinCAT project yet. And in fact, that's a completely different location to where I know that library files need to be stored in order to use them in PLC. And that's absolutely true. However, there is a really neat trick for getting around that issue. In TwinCAT, in our library repository, we would normally come into here, click this install button, navigate to where those folders were kept, and install the libraries that we found there, and potentially even doing it one at a time, which would take an age. But there is a really neat way you can actually just point TwinCAT at that folder location, and that's up here at this location level. We select this edit location button, and you'll notice here I've got the actual location that I use for my installation of the SPT framework is listed here. All you need to do is click this add, open this up. I can navigate to where that folder lives on my in my documents folder, SPT libraries, library repository, and OK that, and I will save that as SPT, and there you have it. Okay. Now you don't have to do anything else. Those libraries are now in your system. So here I can open up the SPT, and you'll find base, components, those libraries that have just been downloaded fresh from Git, now available to use in your TwinCAT project. Okay, thank you for listening. This has been a presentation on how to install the SPT framework. In the next one, we'll start going through the framework itself and understanding what we can actually do with it.